You hold your baby until they finally fall asleep. You wait a few more seconds just to be sure. Then, as carefully as possible, you place them down. And the moment their back touches the mattress, they cry. So, you pick them up again. They calm down. You try putting them down one more time. And somehow, the same thing happens all over again. If you've ever wondered why your baby seems perfectly comfortable in your arms, but suddenly unhappy the moment you put them down, you're not imagining it. And it isn't necessarily because your baby is being difficult. There's a fascinating reason this transition can be so hard for a developing brain. And once you understand what's actually happening, this familiar bedtime struggle starts to make a lot more sense. The first thing to understand is that your baby isn't experiencing the same environment in your arms as they are in the crib. When you're holding them, they're surrounded by familiar signals. They can feel your body. They can hear your breathing. They can sense your movement. They can feel your warmth. They may even recognize the rhythm of your heartbeat. All of these signals tell a young nervous system something important. This is familiar. This is where I am used to being. And this person is close. Then you put the baby down. Suddenly, many of those signals disappear at almost exactly the same time. The surface beneath them feels different. Your body is no longer moving with theirs. Your warmth is gone. The sounds they were hearing become quieter, and the position of their body changes. To an adult, that transition may seem tiny. To a baby, it can be a very noticeable change in their sensory environment. This is also why the timing matters. If your baby falls asleep in your arms and you immediately move them, they may not yet be in the same stage of sleep that they will reach later. Sleep is not simply an instant switch from awake to completely unconscious. The brain moves through different states. And during lighter sleep, babies can be more sensitive to changes around them. A small movement, a change in temperature, a different surface, or the sudden absence of the person who was holding them. Any of these changes can be enough to bring them back toward wakefulness. So, when a baby wakes the moment you put them down, it can look almost like they were waiting for you to do it. But their brain isn't planning a trick. It's responding to a change in the environment. There's another important piece of the puzzle. Babies are still developing their ability to regulate themselves. Adults can wake up in an unfamiliar position, notice what's happening, and usually understand that nothing is wrong. A baby doesn't have the same level of cognitive control. They can't simply tell themselves, I'm safe, my parent is still nearby, this feeling will pass, I can just go back to sleep. Those are skills that develop over time. A young baby depends heavily on external regulation. In simple terms, they often borrow calm from the people around them. Your voice can be calming. Your touch can be calming. Your movement can be calming. Your presence can help organize a nervous system that is still learning how to do all of this independently. And this is why holding a baby can sometimes feel almost magical. The baby may stop crying within seconds of being picked up. Nothing about the original problem has necessarily changed. The room is the same. The crib is the same. The time is the same. But one thing has changed. You're close again. The familiar sensory signals have returned. Your warmth, your movement, your voice, your touch. For a developing nervous system, those signals can be powerful. This doesn't mean that every baby needs to be held constantly. And it doesn't mean that putting a baby down is harmful. It simply means that the transition between being held and being alone can be much bigger to a baby than it looks from an adult perspective. There's also a reason this behavior can feel so confusing for parents. A baby may seem completely asleep in your arms. Their body becomes still. Their eyes close. Their breathing slows. So you naturally assume they're ready to be transferred. But sleep isn't always that simple. If the transition happens during a lighter stage of sleep, the change in environment may be enough to wake them. And when they wake, they may immediately notice that the familiar source of comfort is gone. That's why the sequence can feel almost predictable. Hold the baby. Baby falls asleep. Put baby down. Baby wakes. Pick baby up. Baby calms. Repeat. It can be exhausting. But understanding the pattern can make it feel much less mysterious. And there's an important distinction here. Your baby crying when you put them down doesn't automatically mean they are spoiled. It doesn't mean you've created a bad habit. And it doesn't mean your baby is deliberately manipulating you. Babies communicate through behavior because they don't yet have the language or cognitive skills to explain what they're experiencing. Crying is one of the main ways they communicate discomfort, frustration, hunger, tiredness, overstimulation, or a need for comfort. The same behavior can have different causes. That's why the most useful question isn't always, how do I make my baby stop crying? Sometimes it's, what changed right before my baby started crying? That question can tell you much more. Maybe the baby was already overtired. Maybe they were hungry. Maybe they were uncomfortable. Maybe the room suddenly became colder. Maybe the movement from your arms to the mattress was too abrupt. Or maybe they simply noticed the absence of the familiar contact that was helping them stay calm. None of these possibilities mean that you failed as a parent. They're simply clues. And over time, parents often become surprisingly good at recognizing those clues. You begin to notice the difference between a hungry cry and a tired cry, between overstimulation and discomfort, between a baby who needs a little more time to settle and one who needs immediate attention. That isn't a single skill that appears overnight. It's something you and your baby learn together. So the next time your baby falls asleep in your arms and wakes the moment you put them down, remember what you're actually seeing. You're not necessarily seeing a baby who refuses to sleep. You're seeing a developing nervous system reacting to a change. In your arms, your baby has warmth, movement, familiar sounds, touch, and the reassuring presence of someone they know. In the crib, the environment suddenly feels different, and your baby's brain is still learning how to handle that change. As babies grow, their ability to regulate themselves, move between states, and adapt to changes gradually develops. The process takes time. So sometimes the most useful thing a parent can do isn't to ask, why won't my baby stay down? It's to ask, what changed when I put them down? Because once you understand the change, the crying starts to make a lot more sense. And what looks like a difficult behavior may actually be a small glimpse into how a baby's developing brain learns safety, regulation, and independence. If you enjoy understanding the hidden psychology behind everyday childhood behavior, subscribe for more. Because sometimes the behavior parents find most confusing is the behavior that reveals the most about what's happening inside a child's developing brain.